We just arrived to the center of what is 40 acres of test and experimentation ranch land. So a lot of you guys have been seeing me post information about rotational grazing and permaculture, the desertification in areas that aren't grazed or managed properly. And so I've been sharing this information, and what's been bothering me is that I'm not actually able to take on that challenge other than learn. So, and we found a very cheap piece of property because it's less than desirable, but I believe can have a transformative impact on the entire region once developed. Because when we can show what's possible out here, this land will become valuable and then eventually fertile. So we're right now in the exact center of 40 acres that we were able to get for next to nothing. It's next to nothing. I'll show you why. Because traditionally, when you're looking for land, this is crap. But the thing is, this land wasn't always that. This has happened primarily because of human impact. At one point before the Americas were settled, this was all grassland because the great bison and all other ruminant animals were able to travel freely back and forth across plains like this, eating the vegetation and then fertilizing it as they went. But now we've put roads and fences and all kinds of stuff in the way of that happening. So the faith that I have is that this can be restored. Rather than just be an observer and hope that these things can happen, we're taking action. We're actually going to set this up as a nonprofit, an education and testing sort of area to show it's possible. Because as you can see, all of this land, it all looks the same. It's the exact same. And it actually can be very fertile, productive land when done right. Well, it gets 17 inches of rain here. That's a lot of rain. So the rain will fall, but because it's this stuff like that powdery topsoil, when it rains, it won't penetrate. You can see how far it goes. It goes in that far, and that's it. Let's see if I can pull this up here. That's the amount of permeation that gets. Now, what's really cool is if you turn over this dirt, you actually can see there's still moisture in there. So it's wet ground right there. But we're only getting about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of permeation when water falls. What we want is to add soil biology. Soil biology is your dead vegetation, your worms, your microbes in the soil that eat all that organic matter, because then it'll go from 2 inches to 36 inches. So one of the complaints out here, and the reason it's crusty, is because when the rain and snow falls, it just sits on the top and creates a muddy mess. That is good news, because that means there's enough water out here to grow vegetation. It just needs to be cultivated the right way. You can see this whole section I'm stepping in is just barren, capturing that water and has it sit on top. If it penetrates, then we stop evaporation, because when we have the evaporation, we're not utilizing all the water that falls. If we keep it from evaporating because it goes deep in the soil, our plants will grow more. We'll be able to put animals on here, and it will bring a lot more moisture and vegetation back to this region. In theory and in education, this place is now a way for us to put into practical application and then spread the word. So if you're interested in that, follow along. We'll have fun out here. We're going to keep track of all of it so we can teach people how to do it in other places. Right? You excited for it?
Yep.
Yep. You
Yes,
too?
it's awesome.
Grandma?
It's
Grandma's
awesome.
excited? Ella's excited?
Dad, look.
Moist, huh?
So soft.
I think
And
it's
it's
pretty even. How do you call something like this beautiful?
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, so we're at a place called Burrell, Utah. So if you're interested in looking for property, it's cheap out here. Check it out. Maybe we'll have you as neighbors.